Just too much here.
No, I mean, your question is the right one, and you know, my view, I'm not speaking for everybody here, is this is about replacing Russian oil with American and North American resources that this administration has stifled, let's face it. And it's the executive order on public lands, it's the decision to stop the Keystone. Keystone, by the way, is 820,000 barrels per day. So more than all the Russian oil that has been coming in per day, even at its height at about 700,000. So there's replacement right there. Now, you know, that decision's been made. We are where we are. But there are things, Senator Manchin's absolutely right, we can do to just get our production back up to where it was. Finally, I've gotten a little heat on this issue from some folks saying that, gosh, that's bad for the environment, because if you cut off Russian oil, then we've got to produce more here. Are you kidding? Who thinks that the Russian oil is being produced in a more environmentally sound way than American oil? I mean, they've got methane flares all over the country. You know, you can go online and look at the map of the world, and you see the methane coming out of it. It's much dirtier in terms of how they produce it. Then they got to send it here by ship, which creates a lot of CO2. So the notion that somehow this is going to be bad for the environment if we cut off Russian oil, just the opposite. It will lead to fewer emissions and also has obvious national security implications right now during this crisis.
I'll give you an example. We have one pipeline, Mountain Valley Pipeline. If that pipeline is 95% built, they could finish it within 2 to 6 months. That pipeline would deliver 2 billion BCF, billion cubic feet a day, 2 billion cubic feet, to go into the market, to go to basically LNGs, to go to Cove Point, to be sent overseas. Immediately we could do that. So we have the ability to do what needs to be done. Yes.
My question is actually for Senator Murkowski, because I think you were starting to address this in a point you made earlier. This legislation wouldn't take any oil out of the global markets. It's just a ban on U.S. imports of Russian oil.
That's
but because of it, energy markets are global. Somebody will buy all of those barrels of Russian oil, be it India or China or someone else. So I guess in terms of punishing Putin, how does this do anything to do that other than keep our hands clean of buying his oil?
First of all, I think that there is a moral obligation here. I don't want U.S. dollars to be funding this carnage in Ukraine led by Putin. I think all of us should agree that that is not where we go. Now, it is a global supply out there, but it is not a supply without limitation. Now, we're going to be pushing to do everything that we can to get production up in this country, despite some of the policies that have been put in place that have held us back. Others will likely be trying to do the same. But you can't turn this on a dime. And so in the meantime, you're going to see around the globe pinch points. And what we all need to be doing is making sure that that pinch point is felt most forcefully in Russia, directly to Putin's accounts. So what we can do here in this country, because we are poised to produce more, if just given the right signal, we can help ameliorate the pressure on us. We can help ameliorate the pressure on our allies. But not if we just continue to say, well, we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing and effectively reward Putin. That's wrong.
Let me jump in and say this. First of all, the market's shrinking. There's very few people that are buying Russian products. They're moving away every day. So you mentioned 2
billion people in India. And
Hold
China
on. That's fine. That's fine. But that's a smaller market with less cost. He's going to be punished because he will not get the price he's getting. He's now paying the best price in the market. His market has shrunk dramatically. Okay? So if you only had one game in town, I know I could only sell to you. You'd be a little bit tougher to deal with. I know that. But with that, we're sending a very strong signal, and we're sending a strong signal to our allies, too. We're not disrupting the world distribution.
Is that the missing piece of it? Is this more effective if 20 other countries step forward and say they're doing this?
Countries are stepping forward everywhere humanly possible. They need backfilled. We should be able to be that backfill, and that's what we're working on. And there should be the LNG, we're going from 8% up to 13%. Getting there quickly. We can go further than that if we do. We have oceans of energy. We have to use that. It's a political weapon today. I mean, not a political weapon. What political weapon is more a weapon, period. A weapon of war is what he's using it for. And basically Nord Stream.
It is more effective if you have others that jump in. But not everybody else has the ability to do the backfill. And so they're looking to us and saying, what the hell?
Can't you help us?
What are you sitting on your hands?
You know,
and you're
Nord Stream,
asking us to keep taking it from Russia? No. They're looking to us and saying, you've got the ability to do more to help all of us, so do it.
Nord Stream
Not
2
just
right
us
now.
saying this.
Nord Stream 2 is charged, okay, ready to go? By the will of the Germans and the will of the Europeans, they shut it down. That shows the resolve they have. Now, someone's got to help them, and as quickly as we possibly can. Let me say, I know we could go on all day long. I'm gonna just, hold on one second. I really, and then after we'll do, but I want to say, one second. I want Brian, basically, we've all heard, and our hearts go out, and I just want everyone to take a moment of thinking about the Ukrainian people, as we sat here today, and the safety we have and the defense of our country. And think about these human beings are basically thrust in a war zone to where their children are at risk, they're at risk, their way of life's at risk, their homes are gone. Think about that. That changed all in 1 week for you and me. And we had someone out there who's always been our friend. He said, man, I wish my friend come help me. I really wish my friend would come. That's really where they're at. Brian, why don't you, basically in his own native language, in your own
No,
native
it's not my
language.
native language.
Slavic
No,
Ukrainian.
it's just before 10 o'clock in Kiev. Night has fallen. President Zelensky, Mayor Klitschko, members of the Rada, members of the press are all wearing Kevlar, if they can find it, carrying arms if they have them available. Ukraine's independence is 30 years old. They're a very young country, and we were a very young democracy at one point. Our democracy, as we all know, is 245 years old, and we're the oldest democracy on the planet. And Ukraine and the world are now seeing how hard it is to remain free in an era where evil is rampant across the globe. And for all of our friends in Ukraine, Slava Ukraina, as they say, the rallying cry, glory be to Ukraine. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you. That's the right way to end it. Thank you.
Are you confident that you can get 60 votes for this, and what kind of outreach will you
Well, I think I've never seen anything more bipartisan support than I've seen for this in a bicameral way.
That quickly.
That quickly, we did it one day, and basically when you have Nancy Pelosi saying this is something she would support. Wait a minute, hold on.
If it means reducing reliance on foreign oil, does that add any urgency in your view to kind of deal with your party on a reconciliation vote and things, a lot of the clean energy tax credits that you said you've been in favor of?
Oh, no, we're willing to talk about anything. The bottom line is the production of fossil fuels right now. I mean, wind and solar is not going to put natural gas over there, and, okay, we have to be realistic what we're trying to do here. The bottom line is we can go from 11 million to 12 million overnight if they just let us. We can build a pipeline in 2 to 6 months that gets 2 billion BCF. We can do that. But the people that are fighting, taking to court all the time, and basically the administration needs to step up and help us on that. And absolutely, we have to go forward with our climate solutions. I'm all for that. I've always been all for that. But it's not in policy. I'm not going to throw one out the window for the other. You need the horsepower to run a country. You need the horsepower to be the superpower of the world and be able to have your allies depend on you. And we haven't been there for that. We've throttled back and never throttled back up. That's all I'm saying. And I'll just say this for my own. I would gladly, if ever was a poll being taken, they said, Joe, would you pay 10 cents more a gallon to support the people of Ukraine and stop basically the support of Russia? I would gladly pay 10 cents more a gallon.
Senator Manchin, do you think people will feel that way after they've been told for months by everyone in Congress, inflation is attacked, it's a heavy burden?
Inflation is attacked. This is war.
Will people believe that?
I have to ask them. Take a poll.